Are you seeking a better way to accelerate your sales, to scale your business, to live a life with no limits? Accelerate Sales Podcast features global experts who have cracked the code to recurring revenues with proven sales systems and get you on the fast track to scaling. Now let's accelerate your sales with today's episode.
Hi, I'm Paul Higgins and welcome to the Accelerate Sales Podcast, episode number 423. Today you're going to learn lots. This is a fantastic interview, but you're going to learn three key things in particular. One is our guest's sales strategy and how it's helped her to double her business and will help her double it again. She goes into great detail and it's fantastic. The next is her recruitment plans to keep up with that growth. And once again, some really good ideas that I hadn't heard of before. And the third is her move from profit to growth and why. So if you're a first-time listener and you love what you hear, please subscribe. If you're a regular, always welcome those reviews and just reach out to me. I always reply to everyone that reaches out to me. And sometimes it can be a bit lonely being a podcaster. So yeah, I'd love for you to reach out to me. Please take notes because Kylie does mention a lot, but there's also a little short amount of notes in the app that you're listening to. And also you can go and get more detailed at the website, paulhigginsmentoring.com. And also you can get ask for the transcript there. And before we go into the interview with Kylie, I'd like to thank our sponsors. The first is the Cloud Consultants Collective, where peers, no matter what the cloud platform or the SaaS platform is, help each other. And that's the whole idea of we get people like Kylie on to help, but we also do a lot more within the community. Just go to cloudconsultantscollective.com. And the next is SendSpark. It's a fantastic video platform. So yes, you're using Outreach to do text, etc. But isn't it great to introduce you to be the face of the business? You can do that through this platform. And even better, you can get 6 months free. You can go to paulhigginsmentoring.com/SendSpark. The links will be in the show notes. So Kylie, our guest today, has worked with businesses to implement robust systems and processes so that they can make decisions based on numbers. They can increase their conversion, provide more consistent service, and better measure the activities and results of their team. Wouldn't we all like that? She has the ability to identify growth opportunities and implement strategies to achieve them, and loves innovation, change, and connecting business owners to tools that streamline their operation. And in this case, it happens to be Zoho. With experience across a number of industries, including fashion, manufacturing, retail, hospitality, and events, Kylie understands what a business needs to achieve their goals, and she goes into why she went that way rather than focusing on a few. And she also understands that you need to choose, implement, and train your people successfully when you start with the business, which is Squirrel Business Solutions. Away from the office, Kylie likes to unwind in a yoga studio riding her mountain bike and her dog Oscar, which nearly made a cameo, and you can sort of hear that in it. But I'm really happy to introduce you to Kylie Harker from Squirrel Business Solutions. Great to have you here, Kylie.
Wonderful to be here, Paul. Thanks for inviting me. It's been a little while, but it's great to see your face.
Yeah, same. Look, we go back a long way. You know, you picked a platform, Scott, my business partner, picked a platform, and having you on the show today to reveal your success proves which platform was the right one, which was the one you picked, which is Zoho that I spoke about in the introduction. And I just really like the way you do business. You're a really kind person, you're very giving, and I know you dedicate yourself to client outcomes. So I'd love to, you to share that with people today. And if you are listening, especially from the US, you've got a pleasant surprise today. You've got two Australians because Kylie's from the same city I'm in, but we're in different offices. So you might have to slow it down if you can't understand us, but we'll do our best because, yes, we've got a very unique accent, as you all know. So Kylie, why don't we kick off with who your ideal client is and what problems you love to solve with them?
Sure. We love working with growing or thriving businesses that need their processes streamlined and refined. So quite often they've already got CRM in place and obviously have a few other key systems that they use to run their business. our core purpose that we kind of live by at Squirrel is that we resource business capability. So everything that we're doing or that we're interested in helping people with is around doing exactly that. And that plays out in lots of different ways. We kind of tend to just look at people's processes and like look at how can we streamline this, make this more efficient, less keystrokes, integrate things so you're not having to, type something in one system and then type it into another, or only get a tiny bit of information into one system and then have to, come in behind it and add other things. So that's kind of the first part of what we do with a business. And then the second kind of part of the journey is helping engage with your existing clients. And then fourth thing would be unlocking the value of your data. Yes. So, yeah, I mean, you can't make good decisions if you don't have great data. So, and that's what systems are about, really. So, yeah, that's kind of the fourth piece.
And do you simply generate the data, or are you also helping them interpret that data?
More just about generating the data. We tend to leave it to a business coach or somebody like that usually to take over. We try and stay in our lane a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, definitely. As a mentor, I'd love, or a business coach, whatever you listening would like to call me. It's great when you've got that. I was spoiled when I was at Coca-Cola. We had the opposite. We had so much data. It was sometimes just exhausting to pull it through. Whereas, most companies don't have a lot, especially when it comes to marketing and sales. And, you mentioned growth, right? So how do you go about assessing whether someone's growth orientated? Is it something you particularly look for, a particular metric, or is it the meeting with the owner? Sort of what helps you determine that?
It's a great question. It is about meeting with the owner and the key people that are driving the business forward. There's definitely an energy, I think, that comes from those people, and you're quite often hearing things like, we know that there's a better way. We know that we can scale, but our current systems are just, not allowing us to really leverage the people that are in our team because they're doing low impact activities rather than high impact activities. So I guess it's a bit of a feeling, and it's you hear all of the similar things, hey, these are what our projections are, but we just need to fix this, this, and this,
Yeah, great. And what's sort of been the best source of these new clients for you?
Our two buckets of lead source really is we get a little under 50% from our website, and then the other 50% is made up of various different kinds of referrals. So it might be client referrals, key partner referrals, so either the Zoho software, or we've got some other industry-specific software that we integrate Zoho with, and they channel leads our way. And it just other external, I've been part of a number of business networks for a long time, and they continue, once you've built a solid relationship and you can prove what you do, the leads just come.
So it was one of those BNI? Have you ever been BNI?
Yeah, I still get about 12% of our revenue from BNI, and I left BNI probably 3 or 4 years ago now.
Right. And for those, what's a Business Network International? Is that BNI?
Yeah, it's definitely a global thing for sure.
Yeah. And the current networks that you're in, what are some of the current ones that are working well for you?
I'm in a network called the 1 to 10 Business Club, which is run by Mark Dobson, who is a performance coach. He has an amazing network of people across the world that are just, to just get access to their brain for like 45 minutes is, as long as you kind of just go, right, I'm going to take that and implement it, because that's the key to everything. There's some amazing people in that group. The other one would be Victorian Leaders. I'm a part of that, which is, again, an international, they've got international leaders. It's in every state in Australia, I think, as well. Those are probably my key ones at the moment. Yeah.
And how many of those are in person versus remote, given what's happened with COVID?
They're all back to being in person, which is great.
Okay.
Yeah. I missed the seeing each other. Zoom's great, but it's hard for a long period of time.
Yeah, look, I've been doing it for 11 years, so it's sort of become par for the course now. But, yes, look, most of my clients are in the US, so it's the only way to do it, and I'm not allowed to travel because of my conditions. So, but I do miss that. That's why I play a bit of golf, I think, to get that, that company. And you talked about your website. So what, is it all of those sources driving traffic to your website, or have you got other sources that are working for you to drive traffic to your website?
One of them does. So I'm listed on the Zoho partner page, and I contribute to their blogs. So all their case studies, really. They run a lot of case studies. So we do definitely get traffic bouncing from them to us. The other secret, I think, on our website is just our case studies. They're really great for just organic ranking, or whatever you call it.
Yes.
And I think it helps somebody to understand or read something and go, oh, that sounds just like me. Or I often get people through the website that say, I've just read this case study, I want that.
Yeah. And look, we were talking before we went live. I was complimenting you on your website, and it's squirrel.biz is the URL. We're going to have it in the show notes for you, but go and have a look. I said to Kylie before she came on board, I think it's one of the best websites that I've seen for cloud consultants that I've come across. And I know that you spent a lot of time and you got some money to help. Just sort of, what was the straw that broke the camel's back to get someone in to actually help you with your website versus me, who always tries to help myself?
Oh, we've done plenty of helping ourselves as well, don't worry. I think that all happened probably about 18 months or so ago now. And I think it was just we were kind of looking at our story, or who we were coming across as online. And we were like, you know what, we're much more grown up than that now, So we wanted to tell our story in a way that was more up to date and showcased what our team's skills and the way that we could help people in a really simple way. I got my first tattoo about 2 years ago, and I just had the word simplicity tattooed, and that was part of it. It was just like, how can everything that we're doing, everything we do for clients, let's just keep everything simple and then build on it. So
sure. So just a quick question: does that mean you've got more when you said?
No, I've only gone the one. It was very important to me at the time, and I thought, I'm never going to forget this.
Yeah, well, I'm just waiting for a particular golf score. Well, basically, when I shoot under 70, whatever that number is going to be the number that I get a tattoo. So, so I'm waiting for that. I think if you ask some people, it might be a time off, but I'm about 6 shots off at the moment. So we'll see how we go. So you made the decision. You said, you weren't comfortable how you look to the world, right? So I get that. And look, ballpark figure, like, how much was the investment? Like, you don't have to tell us exactly, but was it, between, 50 or above 50, or what did it cost you to actually make all of the changes?
It's a little bit hard to quantify because we've obviously got a lot of skills in-house. So I would say we had somebody come in and facilitate a kind of a brand and storytelling workshop with the team. And then we also invested in that same person to go and edit content that we then created for the pages. So I don't know, I probably spent about $5,000 on his time. We have developers in-house, so they did a lot of the refresh work and what have you. But I would say that there was easily 50 to 80 hours put into that. So I don't know, round numbers, if I was paying somebody, it probably would have been 10 grand, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. And look, like I said, go check it out. We'll put the link in there, but it is great. And has it improved your conversions? So has it improved your traffic, but B, has it improved your conversions, or is it, both, which is C?
I'd say it's a little bit of both. We do get comments on our website. One of the things that we were very keen for the website to do was to showcase the different tools that we have to offer and the products, I guess, that we can implement. And so that somebody could just say, I just need a quoting tool, and, I use Zoho CRM, but I don't like the way, that it quotes. So we kind of have tried very hard to do that. And from that aspect, it's worked really well. We're actually also able to use those product pages on our website as part of our nurture sequence. So if somebody calls and says, hey, I'm really looking for, this kind, maybe a solution for field service management or whatever it might be, we've got email templates set up that can just be sent out. They've got a link to that page. And of course, the page on the website's got the demo video, the problems it solves. So it was I think it was quite strategic from our side to say, well, Kylie and a couple of the other team who do the initial sales calls, we shouldn't be the only ones that can do that. We should be able to arm the rest of the team with resources.
Yeah. So, and how long did it take for you to see the change once you made the website changes?
Oh, look, it was pretty quick. I would say within 3 to 6 months, for sure. Yeah. I'm trying to think if it's helped us convert better. Look, people come to us when they put an inquiry through the form. They're very qualified, would be we hardly ever have to say to somebody, hey, look, we're not going to be able to help you, or you're just not a good fit for us. So I think from that perspective, it's working really well.
Yeah, great. And you talked about Zoho, you're on their blog, you're on their partner page. Is there anything else that you do to influence Zoho's sending you leads?
Not really. They have kind of stopped doing it a lot because the partner program, I guess, is just it's huge now, the number of Zoho partners that there are.
Yes.
Look, one little thing that we try to do, we do a lot of solutions because it's really hard for people to imagine what's possible a lot of the time. So we do a lot of short videos, and they're either, even our team showcasing to the rest of the team a solution that they've implemented it might be something really simple, but it really helps educate the rest of the team. And then we can use those videos to share with other people. So I quite often will share some of those things with some of my key partner people at Zoho so that they can see what we're capable of. Just so that if they come across, a client that needs more work than what Zoho can help them with themselves, then, we're kind of front of mind.
So this might show a slight gap in my research, but what about YouTube? Are you also putting content on YouTube as well?
Yes, that's exactly where we post a lot of that stuff. And that's actually really broadened our reach overseas. Those leads don't convert as well. I think they tend to be a little bit more maybe price sensitive, I guess, would be my first thought. We do have quite a few clients in the UK and New Zealand and what have you, but they've come through referrals. So, yeah.
Great. And the other one you spoke about was, industry software or industry leading software that you partner with. So what's an example of that? Because, I often when I'm working with someone say, hey, look, there's someone who goes before you, there's someone who goes after you. Like, who is that? So what's your examples of that?
Print IQ, which is an industry software for obviously the print industry. So people who are doing quite, large scale, they might be doing retail marketing, print and other kinds of digital print of all kinds of different materials and what have you. So they actually use Zoho themselves in their business, and they approached us, it's probably 7 years ago now, and just said, hey, we often get asked about CRM because it's not what our software does. So we've got a really nice integration for Zoho and for HubSpot, actually, with Print IQ.
Great. And is there an example where you've approached someone? So, it's gone the other way. They approach you, which is great. Have you gone and approached someone and built that relationship?
Good question. I don't think so. Nothing's coming to my mind. No, actually. We do a lot of work with Xero as well, but it was probably, again, they're a bit bigger, I suppose. You kind of apply to be a Xero developer and away you go. So we do a lot of work with them. No, I've never thought about doing that. I should find some.
So I know you started incredibly young, but how long have you actually been on the Zoho platform?
Probably close to 8 years. Yeah, we've been in business about 9. About 8 years.
And if you go back to then, what was the key reason you went with Zoho? And then I'll ask you, obviously, why you're staying.
The key reason was I had a business partner at the time, and she specialised in Zoho. So she really kind of showed me what it was capable of. And that just kind of made sense. Like, I'm very good at that solutioning side of things and talking to people about what their problems are and working out a solution. And she was really great at doing the implementation piece. So it was, a bit of a match made in heaven at that point in time. So it was probably her introduction more than anything.
And what's coming up for Zoho? Why continue on the platform?
Look, they particularly they've got over 45 different applications that they have in their suite. So the flexibility of that, of being able to use one kind of operating system, I guess, and not have to do custom integrations or use Zapier or whatever else you might use to connect systems, is very appealing. They've probably got about 10 or 15 really strong applications that we implement a lot and we think are great. The CRM is so flexible, and it's easy to navigate around. It's really easy to integrate with as well for custom stuff. So, those are the main reasons.
Great. And you sort of spoke, the question we used to often get is, all in one versus best of breed, right? There was always, some clients wanted, someone wanted the other. Have you seen any change? Because we sold our business in 2019, so I've been out of the mix a little. Is there been a change in regards to that, or has it stayed, effectively the same?
I think there's been a little bit of a change. We tend to still look for best in breed in some aspects. I think email marketing software particularly.
Yes.
That's just one of those ones that if there's such a, I don't know what the things are, they're so specialised in terms of the deliverability and that kind of stuff that would definitely be one we're very careful about kind of recommending change if something's working well. But people have always come saying, I just want one system to do everything.
Yes.
And I feel quite confident that for the most part, if you've got a sales team, you've got basic inventory that you need to manage, support desk ticketing. If you've got those kinds of things that you're needing to do, the Zoho suite is brilliant. Really is.
Great. And you referred to your case studies before, which once again, I recommend everyone goes and have a look at that with a link. But it is, if you want to have a quick look now, pause at squirrel.biz, but make sure you come back. You've got multiple industries there. So once again, was that a strategic choice to go multiple industries, or has it just sort of evolved over time? Tell us a little bit about that.
It has kind of evolved over time. I know everybody says you should try and specialise. Every industry needs CRM. So because we started with that's our core offering, which it still is, but it's kind of much broader.
Yes.
I didn't try to, whoever came, and we find we get these trends, a mortgage broker will come to us and then all of a sudden we're doing 4 mortgage brokers. A manufacturer will come to us and all of a sudden we've got like half a dozen different types of manufacturing. The only industries that I think we really steer away from are those that have got quite compliant, heavy systems that we need to integrate with, and Salesforce is really great at that.
Yes.
So that's kind of their end of town.
Yeah, that's great, and I think that's a really good addition that you added there. That once you pick one, you make sure that you leverage your IP and knowledge in that. I think that's so important. I do look. I personally like to niche and niche down wherever you are in the world. But I do see that, and that could be, a couple. It doesn't have to be just one. But I do love the fact that you are doubling down and you're getting the benefit of once you've got those. And I think that's how referrals tend to work as well, right? You get your foot in an industry, and I think with some of the communities that you've got into, that's a great way as well. You get foot in the community, and then all of a sudden that goes. And that was Mark Dobson. You can go and have a look at his community, and we'll once again put the links in the show notes. When I spoke to you before we went to air, you talked about, I'm going to double my business, right? And we'll get to what you're going to do to double it, but just around the team, right? So you've got, I think, 8 humans and a furry team member, so 9 in total at the moment. And you can see that on your website, where it's great. You've got a photo, and then the words flip. It's like a card that flips to what you do. But just tell us a bit about your sourcing of talent. How have you gone to build this great team?
Oh, gosh, if somebody could just solve that one problem for me, finding and recruiting talent, I don't think there is anybody anywhere that is not having that problem.
Yeah.
And our website isn't quite up to date. We've literally just hired 3 new people in the last 2 months. So we will get their pictures up there because they're all very fabulous. We've systemized, of course, the way that we recruit. We've got very clear questions because I have a tendency to see the good in everybody, and I want to give everyone a chance, so that whole, falling in love with the candidate thing, I'm definitely putting my hand up to be guilty about that.
Yes.
Whereas my operations manager is a lot more like, no, they need to have this skill, that skill. She's quite structured about how she goes about things. So we used both of our methods and have created a set of questions and a scoring kind of methodology, I guess. So that's part of that strategy. But I guess prior to that, in order to fill that candidate funnel, we use the traditional methods, like we sometimes still put ads on Seek. We definitely do LinkedIn.
Yeah. And what do you do on LinkedIn in particular?
A combination of paid and just their free, post a job on your LinkedIn page. That's worked quite well. Actually, one of our most recent hires came through that way. And she, if you're out there looking for a role, she was great. She actually messaged me personally, and if she hadn't done that, she'd actually fallen outside of my filters for people that I wasn't going to look at, but she ended up getting the role. So that's definitely a strategy. We definitely put together just a simple, almost like a brochure that we can give to or email around to our people in our network that this is who we're looking for. We also go through 2 other avenues, actually. We went through the Digital Jobs program in Victoria, which is still active and alive. We've gotten 2 people through there, which was great. And also Swinburne Uni. So they do, and I'm sure maybe even across the globe, there's universities that do placement programs. And we've got our data analyst from there at the moment, and he is a firecracker. Absolutely amazing.
Fantastic. Yeah, I think that's great. And I know that there are some services as well where I used to use them in the past, where an international student would be here studying, and then, they wanted to work part-time as well. That with COVID, that became, a tough business model, but I'm sure now that we're hopefully seeing the back of it, that it'll improve. But that's great. Some great tips here on recruitment. And the last one I want to talk to before we go into the sort of the quick fire questions is this doubling, right? So you've already got, let's say, what did you say? So 11 plus a
there's 12 of us now.
Yeah, there's 12 of you now. And I'm referring to the dog, so you can go and see that on the website. But who made a cameo just before we went live, actually. So, I think your children are taking he or she, sorry.
He
for a little walk. But this doubling, right? So you've already got a great base. Some people would say, well, look, Kylie, shouldn't you just be happy with where you're at? Why would you want to double it at this point? So one question is why, and the other question is how. How are you thinking of doing it?
Sure. Look, I think the why was, over the last 2 years, my entire focus was just around profitability. It was like, let's just really get things as tight as we can. And once you kind of get to that point, I then started thinking, well, what's next? Like, I get bored quite easily, so that's another great reason to have multiple industries you're working with. You're never bored. I think I just thought, well, I love my team. I love being able to give people opportunities within our business that keep them with us, because we put so much into them, and I love seeing people learning and growing. And if the business isn't growing and the different kinds of clients and work that we're doing isn't growing and changing, then we'll lose those people. So that was one kind of key driver, I guess. And, I'm not getting any younger, Paul. So I kind of figure my business at the moment isn't at a point, I don't think anyway, where it's saleable. So if I kind of want to get to that point, because it doesn't, I guess your options as a business owner are you either are going to sell your business or you end up just closing it down, and that doesn't feel good to me. So,
or you bring someone in to run it for you. So
which is hard, right?
Yeah,
I don't know.
Good.
All things are hard. So that's kind of the why.
Yeah, great, brilliant. And look, I could talk to you about that. I could talk to you a lot more. We'll have you back on as a guest. I'd love to do that, to get in 12 months' time, to see what because you've done it in the past, so I know you'll do it again. But it'll be great to replay on what you did do exactly. So what we'll do now is go into the rapid fire. And the first question I always ask is, what are some of the daily sales habits that you do to help you to accelerate sales?
We have weekly team sales meetings with sole focus on what our forecast and pipeline report is. We've got a very clear report that shows what we're forecasting for the quarter and how we intend on getting there and who's responsible for it. So it's quite rapid fire like this. It's like, okay, bang, bang. There's no reasons, excuses. It's just, where is this at? Are you on track? Move on. If you're not, let's find a way to get you on track. So very much about, what are we doing? What's the next action? We also we all use our calendars quite a lot. I'm sure everybody does, but our calendars are integrated with our CRM, with our sales process. So whatever your next action date is, that gets pushed into your calendar. So it's in there. You don't have to think about it.
Yes.
Along with project work. So, those are the two things. It's just plan what you're going to do, get it in your calendar, and then just execute on it.
Yeah, great. And for you, how do you find out more about sales? What's a way that you find out more about how you can improve sales, not just for you, but I suppose also pass tips on to your clients?
Again, I'd probably say it's that business community that I have. There's such wisdom in there that tends to be where I would go. I definitely utilize their frameworks and knowledge. sadly, and it's something that I would love to have more time to do, I'm not doing enough learning and just reading about that kind of stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I suppose for me, the default is the 2.5 times speed podcasting. So
I was going to say podcasts. Yeah, I do that. Yep.
Yeah. That's certainly for me been a great one. And if I could grant you one wish for your business other than doubling it in 12 months, what would it be?
Oh, I think I said before, it's that ability to find and recruit high-performing talent. Yeah.
Yeah, great. And the last one is knowing what you know now. So you're sort of roughly 9 years in. What's at least one decision you wish you had made earlier, or one change you wish you had made earlier?
I think being more strategic with sales forecasting and managing that, like just having that real laser focus on numbers, like just knowing them inside out, and ensuring that we had, that information to be making decisions on. Like we've really done that a lot in the last few years, and it's just made such a difference.
Yeah, that's brilliant. Great wisdom, and something if you're listening and you're not doing that, no reason not to start it tomorrow. So, Kylie, it's been an absolute joy having you on. As I've said, one of the best websites in the business. So go check that out. It's squirrel.biz, and there's a lovely story there. And well done. It's been great following your journey and what you've built, and I can't wait to have you back in 12 months to see how you've doubled. So thanks for coming on today.
Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
That was such a great interview with Kylie. We go back a long way, and you can probably tell the rapport, but yeah, she just gave lots of great detail. I love the detail around the strategy of sales and also recruitment, and we'll definitely have her back in 12 months to see what's happened with it. If you found something really valuable, just share that on LinkedIn and mention Kylie in there. And also you'll get all the summary in what you're listening to, more detailed at paulhigginsmentoring.com. You can also get a full transcript if that's your thing. And why don't you share it with others? So you might have other peers at either Zoho or non-Zoho partners. Share it with them. They'll think you're an absolute hero. And also don't forget to listen to some of the solo shows on the Accelerate Sales podcast and that free community, our free Slack community, cloudconsultantscollective.com. And as always, please take action to accelerate your sales.
I'm fired up after today's episode. What about you? But hey, before you go, learning is just one piece of the puzzle. Now it's time to put today's strategy into action. Head over now to today's show page at paulhigginsmentoring.com/podcast and share how you'll put it into action. Be sure to head over to your favorite podcast platform and subscribe, rate, and review the show. Tell me what your favorite episode is. And don't wait 1 minute more to gain access to your pulse check at paulhigginsmentoring.com. This could be the difference between struggling to get more leads and making this next quarter your best one yet.